People are being driven into meat assaults. People are being laid down in heaps. People are not spared.
Russian grunt from the 114th Brigade bitches about hellish days. They chuck us into meat grinder assaults. I'm the last of 3 still kicking. We're not even human to them. No meds, no leave, 2 hits, cough up dough or keep charging. Kurakivka direction.
And hello, I am Lysenko Alexei Sergeyevich, a serviceman of the 114th Brigade Separate Assault Battalion. I would like to share my problem. Returning from a combat mission, having survived 1 out of all, there were 3 of us. Yeshim, Seika and I. We were sent to occupy the dugout and maintain perimeter defense. Well, in general, as always, damn it, we were screwed over. On arriving there, we ran into the enemy. I was the only one who survived out of all of them. Thanks to the allies, they took me to Beres, to the village of Bereski. Where am I currently located? What did I want to say to you guys? People are being driven into meat assaults. People are being laid down in heaps. People are not spared. They don't consider us humans here at all. Medicine. There is none at all. There is medicine if you've been hit. They will send you an Algin or keto roll, pain relief. Enough. Military Medical Board does not allow to pass. I'm on leave. I have been serving since the year 2023. I serve here. I have never been on leave. 2 injuries, damn it. I haven't been on leave for an injury. Nor have I had general leave. Want to take leave. Pay money. Didn't pay, damn it. Keep serving. March into assault, damn it. No brains. March into assault, damn it. It's the year 2024 for us. There are many losses. And everyone knows it well. Why are they silent? I don't know. Why are people silent? Because they are afraid of ending up at the front with a shovel.
Germany's Bild is reporting. A Russian attack on Lithuania could happen as early as this fall. This could be our last peaceful summer. Russia has announced large-scale exercises in Belarus. Russian armed forces could cross the border. NATO's Article 5, at least for the US, may no longer apply. Europe's biggest military powers are drawing up plans to take on greater responsibilities for the continent's defense from the United States, including a pitch to the administration of President Donald Trump for a managed transfer over the next 5 to 10 years, according to a new report. The United Kingdom, France, Germany, and the Nordic countries are among those engaged in the informal but structured discussions that would reshape the North Atlantic Treaty Organization security bloc, the Financial Times newspaper reported on Thursday, citing 4 European officials involved. The news also comes as Bloomberg News reported on Friday that NATO will ask Europe and Canada to boost its weapons and equipment stockpiles by 30% amid its political infighting with the US and Trump's repeated threats to withdraw from the bloc. According to the FT report, the talks are an attempt to avoid possible chaos should the US unilaterally declare its withdrawal from the transatlantic security alliance that has protected Europe for the past 80 years. The Europeans reportedly want to present the plan to the US ahead of NATO's annual Leaders' Summit in The Hague in June. At present, the US contributes 15.8% to the NATO yearly expenditure of $3.5 billion. It also deploys between 80,000 to 100,000 soldiers across Europe, making its role indispensable for the continent's security. European countries like Germany, France, and the UK have already announced they will increase their defense spending and investments in its military. Quoting government officials, the FT report said it would take an estimated 5 to 10 years of increased spending to raise European capabilities to a level where they could replace most US competences. Increasing spending is the only play that we have, burden sharing and shifting the dial away from US reliance. One of the officials was quoted by the FT as saying, "We're starting those talks, but it's such a big task that many are overwhelmed by the scale of it." U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and his boss, Trump, are destroying relations with another ally while justifying their land grab. Disgusting. By the way, Denmark sent 18,000 soldiers to Afghanistan to fight alongside the U.S., and had the second highest per capita casualties after the US, with 43 fatalities from a country of fewer than 6 million people.
Denmark, which controls Greenland, it's not doing its job and it's not being a good ally. So you have to ask yourself, how are we going to solve that problem, solve our own national security? If that means that we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. He cares about putting the interests of America's citizens first.
And his Russian friends are joining the game. Russian propagandists and their geopolitical ambitions. And we'll help Trump take Greenland and Canada. Let's hear from Trump's new trustworthy allies now.
Shall we help Trump to take Greenland and Canada and Ireland? He didn't ask. Is today a holiday? It doesn't matter. St. Patrick's
And
Day.
Ireland wants to go to Russia? What? How do
How's
you know?
that? No.
Again, yes, again. And that's for the inner part of farms.
Division of Europe. Well, we have to
Well, thank
return
you.
again. How? We have to return
Well,
our
there's
bases
folklore,
in
yeah.
Eastern Europe again, return to Berlin, teach the
yes.
Baltics to love the Russian language again. We still have so much work
Well,
ahead.
this work, all of it that you are talking about, is only possible if, in the year 2028, Vance or someone like him wins the election. Well, because if Trump is given so many hurdles that he ultimately loses the internal conflict. By the
Of
way,
course,
apparently
of
both
course.
sides are ready to play into internal escalation. So essentially, there is
Then
no point in
California
talking.
would have to return to Mexico, Fort Ross to its native shores,
Here,
Alaska
I can't
back home
exclude
too,
anything.
and
Once
Hawaii.
Russian authorities are offering increased financial incentives to recruit more people for the war against Ukraine, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense's main intelligence directorate reported. Ukrainian intelligence reports that some regions of Russia have raised one-time payments for recruits to over 2 million rubles this year, with Samara Oblast offering nearly 4 million. The intelligence notes that many of these volunteers come from difficult backgrounds or are young individuals susceptible to propaganda. This regular increase in financial incentives, according to the intelligence, reflects the Kremlin's struggle to replenish its forces, indicating growing difficulty in finding enough people willing to fight, even with substantial payments. Russia has emptied its prisons and forced captured migrants into the war, desperate for manpower. Convicts, including violent criminals, were promised pardons, while migrants were detained and given a choice: fight or face deportation. The Kremlin's reliance on forced recruitment highlights its struggles, turning prisons and immigration centers into recruitment hubs for the front lines.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.